As I know, of course, I speak. Of course, you learn to speak. Which means to speak is to grow. So if you recognize that, to speak is like growth. You know, I learned from my elders, my great family members, great grandmother, grandmother, great, whatever. We were counting all of them. So to speak is to grow. Remember, they're growing. And it's also to solve things. Now you don't have to speak about it if it's none of your business. You don't have to solve the problem. You know, so how do you solve that problem? You know, that's to speak as well. Traditionally in black, we're going to say all black schools. You know, we're going to say there wherever they are. How they are. I'm scared. No, not of course they are. Darlings, I'm not. Of course. My sister's like, well, say something nice about black countries. But you say something nice about others. Fast. You do it fast. Since you go to all black, I'm black too. But I mean, these people, you know, I had to walk across the forest with monkeys, and you're all just like that. Like heads of monkeys, and the monkeys, you have to secure your homes and start building bars so the monkeys don't come in there. You know, if you're like in the islands and you're growing bananas and avocados, whatever in the islands, and the monkeys are gonna get the bananas and avocados and the whatever. They got like crabs running into your pool, was like ducks and shit like that, and if you whatever. The same scared them that I had walking through a pack of monkeys. The same scared them that I had going to an all black. They're all very dark. They're all very, very black. And you know, it's not fair. It's not quite fair. And they're looking at you like, I'm walking down. I'm in elementary school. They look at me like, hey. And of course, they look at each other too. You know, you got the ponytails and the hair's done. And you got to get your ponytail. You have to have a ponytail. And they got the ponytails, and they're black, very dark. You know, now the ones that became affiliated with, like, maybe they might have some blonde or some brown, they put them in with the white people. But then that's not fair neither. Now you have to put them in, and now they're fighting with these. It's like too much. And then you go to the all black schools and they're all lovey dovey with each other. I was like, that's not fair. But I was sitting in there and I'm like, oh, this is so terrible. Like they're doing like ABCs, like, and they're in like motherfucking 5th grade or whatever, and they're writing in big, you know, like the little notebooks. It's not the A4. It's not as A3 or whatever. It's like notary books, and that's what they can afford. Of course, they get the government sponsors in black countries, all like public schools. They sponsor all of them, so they get everything free. And they're over there being black, and just writing. I'm not looking at the handwriting. And of course, I'm over there. I went to visit because my grandmother had an orphanage, and I went to visit the schools. There's, of course, some of them got pussies, some of them wants to do more, like whatever. And I want to be an engineer, I want to, but you have to do the work. You know, I want to, it's only about your marks. It's the mark. It's on your marks, get set, go. We're all racing, on your marks, get set, go. We play all these games. And whatever dodgeballs and whatever skipping, all this bouncing nets and all these black, all of them. I'm talking about the whole of them, all of them, they've all experienced it. And so I went there with, of course, for experience. And so that's the I was saying, of course, because my own family was kicked out of the white schools. Imagine having a whole family all going to the same school. You know, and my grandmother's children all had children at the same time. So I had my sisters and my brothers, my cousins, all of us were around the same age. And we all attacked the school and they kicked them out. Even though she was paying just about $47,000. And she was paying. So I remained as the only one because I was the last one. I remained as the only one. And when my great grandmother passed away, she said, "I've done my job." I said, what is this ridiculous black shit? I've done my job, Mama. Leave me alone. I've done my job. You graduated. Hallelujah. I went to school at 30 years old with my kids. I got married at 14, 16, whatever. I had all these kids. And my vagina was asking me. I've seen a vagina. It was very nice. I was like, what the fuck? And because of this, even though, they walk around naked, you see their titties and everything. She was so mad. Like, oh my God. We were all, were swimming, drinking bath, and my sisters' titties are hanging out, and they're like, oh, your titties are ugly. Now in the black, only black schools, starting from kindergarten, elementary, all the way up to college, of course. The only black schools, and some of them in the dorm rooms, like in boarding schools, the girls, they're gonna have all their titties out, and they're all going to look at each other like, oh, your titties are not round enough. Like, they would make fun of me. My titties were pointy. Like, what the fuck is wrong? I was like, whatever. Like, taking showers in the boarding schools. I'm like, I can't handle all this shit. Like, oh my God. And then they all go into this gynecology in some villages, and they like check them out, and the men, of course, also circumcisions and this and that, and they do all types of things, but it's very health oriented, and they pay attention to that. They're not living just out of surviving. There's many practices. This guy doing this is just black, of course. Now, of course, it's racist. If you have just whites, and then you're going to change this race. Of course, it is. So furthermore, so having to, I took a nice excursion. I was privileged because no white person could go there. I was very privileged, and they're looking at me like, hey, she's a white, and like pointing at me like my husband is black, and my family, my great grandmother's sister, was pointing at my ex-husband. He's a motherfucking nigga from Baltimore. Like, hey, why did you bring a white man over here? And he was black. He was so offended. He was so scared. He has green eyes and this and that. They still go by all, whatever was established before. They still go by it. And it's working for them, of course. The drop. And so when I was there, they're like, hey, wife was, and then they came to pointing at me, oh, like, you're a wife. I'm like, no, you're all fucking black. And I'm like, no, I'm so far beyond close to a white person. I'm so fucking black. Mm-hmm. Like, you should see my daddy. Well, we need birth certificates. Well, we need to do these tests, and we need to go to King Edward's Hospital and figure out this and that, and your father and your mother, and go to whatever lands that they are doing or whatever they're doing. It's quite crazy. But then it was as scary as that. It was very scary. The same way as when I was walking from their school, of course. Now I've experienced what they were experiencing because I was taking public transportation, or somebody is driving me, or I'm in a carpool, or whatever. They do nice carpools where they get all the kids. It's not like yellow buses, but it's like vans, like microbuses. They call them microbuses. And so they do that, especially for like private schools. For the government schools, then the people are already close. It's already close to the area anyway. They just walk there. Everybody knows everybody, but they're all fucking black, and motherfuckers. And the same, I experienced so, and they were. I told somebody about this. They're like, "You were scared of monkeys." There's a pack of like 1,000 monkeys everywhere. Dear Jesus. I was like, am I going to be able to walk past these monkeys on the road? It wasn't even like a dirt road. It's like a pavement. It's paved. It's great. Cars go through there. But they take a shortcut. I could have taken the long way of the road. They take a shortcut where they made their own shortcuts. So I took the shortcuts to go to my grandmother's orphanage, having experienced all this blackness or whatever. Well, you call it blackness. It's enormous. It's like the people, whatever. It was talking about colour, I guess. But oh my lord, I thought I was going to die walking through a pack of like 1,000 monkeys. I said, God, and I'm not walking with anybody, I'm by myself. I said, Holy Father, this cannot be real. Oh, I got caught up, and they set me up, of course. They have to walk through it every day sometimes if they miss because my grandmother, of course, arranged transportation for them. And to go the other way, and some of them would skip school and they come out early and go this way, and they were like, "Why are you there?" Well, at my school, they let me out. Niggas, I go into your classrooms and they not even doing anything over there. They just like making motherfucking A's and these are like making huge ones. I'm like, you're too old to be making a big A. You're way too old to be making right there on that legend. And then they have the lines. It's not like like the difference between a kid's book and a novel or a series where the text is smaller, and they teach you, in the private schools, you're going to make a very young kids. They put it up on the motherfucking walls, a big A and a little one. And so when you buy the notebooks, that they have, I think they were like A3s or something. They're more like accounting. And so they're very good in that sense. They're doing something else, of course, and which is great. But in perspective, it's like you're making a huge letters, like, and you should be. I'm not making fun of you, as I am. And of course, doesn't matter who's graduates and who doesn't, and so whatever it is again. But they're learning something, you're married, there you go, and you have children, there you go, and you accomplish lots of things, that's good. But it was a very severe and scary, of course, in my parents' house. Living with only white people, and white people letting their dogs bite all of our legs off. And us almost getting rabies and shit like that, having to go to the hospital and having to sue them, of course. And then I was like, you can't live with the white people, you can't live with them. It's like, what the fuck? And then they're like robbing you, and now you live close to the ghetto, and then they ban your houses, and you're throwing kids out the window. And then they're beating up the men in your family, and they're killing them right there. And well, of course, I shouldn't say that. I should not have said that, of course, because it's very very harsh. It's very emotional, and I said it so casually. And I'm definitely going to upload this video, but with all due respect to my family, and to anybody that has lost anybody, to kill whatever is a book, right? Whatever is not that, it's so far deeper than that. And of course, when you're young, you're looking at it in a different way, and then they tell you, well, oh, this person, for the children, it's quite harmful to hear, oh, this person was, this was what happened, now they're gone, and you're like, what? And they're like, oh, you just say for the children. But anyway, with all due respect, and with all the love and the grace and the sorrow and the being with you in the community, and in the ability to feel and to know and to respect that, of course, I don't want anything flying off of that, like it's a casual thing. Of course it's not. Hence there I lay out my own issues, but they're not greater than anybody else's. But that's the greatest, of course, of ills. Of course, you live in sorrow, you live in pain. But specifically speaking about myself as a child and my perspective in those times, and it's very horrific. And now you recompense or whatever, you look back or you recuperate, whatever, so you're covering your memories and whatnot, and it's quite horrific. But anyway, I thought I was going to die from a pack of monkeys, and so, um, my family, even in my family in New York, as think about this issue in a specific way. But for myself, I never could. I would never be able to. Well, I would probably be put in the health services. I would never be able to accept this thing. And so you look at your elders, your great, and this is in every circumstance. For me, and it's so very, very sensitive. I wonder how people do that. Whatever is, certain people, of course, need healing, and it's very, very sensitive. Because then, I would watch, my mother and my grandmother, they wouldn't cry in public, but late at night, and the lights are off, and they're tearing, and they're supposed to be strong black women. They're not going to cry right there talking about the issue. They're not going to cry about it, and somebody wonders why. Especially whoever else, whoever understands, and whoever doesn't understand, they wonder why. Well, why aren't you there in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, crying your heart out for your family? At least I say, I'm not going to say what, because that's mine, and it came out of me. At least I say that. But they wonder why. Even I did, but I saw the truth of the matter as they do. And they're like, oh, strong, whatever, black lady, big, and this and that. But in the night time, they would sit there, they wake up in their sleep, in their slumber, and sit. And my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, they would sit there on their beds, and they start pouring, they're crying. Of course, they're working for hospitals, the community, and these housing, whatever, of whatever, children and this and that, and daycare, all this, whatever. I don't fucking care. Excuse me, I do care, but I don't care about anything that does not profit you. You must, in fact, I've seen it. And I've seen the people that profited out of other people. And I'm like, well, they're like over there, like, talking shit and shit. I'm like, I said, I'm going to sit with them, and I'm going to know what's going on. These are my loved ones that are dedicating their time, doing this and that. But the people that are receiving, who think, oh, well, you're doing a good job, there you are, feeding this, doing this, placing all these structures for, and at least they now feel not that you are greater than them. They're going to do that, whatever, and speak up about that issue. Well, I need a uniform, I need some more books and socks and shoes and whatever. I have this issue, I need to go to whatever. I need whatever. I need some money, pocket money or whatever, to buy whatever, like some donuts. You niggas who eats donuts with fucking salami or bologna and cheese. Who eats like that's fucking really eat that. It's actually good, but it's fattening. They like dip the dough, put a little yeast. It's like a bread. and put a little yeast in it. So unlike it's not sweet. So like you're making bread, put a little yeast in there, flour, salt. It's very simple. Baking powder, no baking soda, and you put a little instant yeast in there. It gives it that bready taste, like kind of like a sourdough bread. And then we'd have big black women sitting out there in like different market squares. Of course, they're selling the corns, the white corn. It's so delicious. Of course, they're selling like fried fish, and they're also selling these little donuts. They make them in India. It's kind of like, it's not puri. The puri, they don't put the instant yeast in it, so it's very soft on the inside. I make this. I made a sourdough bread from the sun for my camp members in New York, and they ate they obviously my kilo, my bar, my Mary family, but they recognize how self-righteous my family has been. It really tears you up. Or should I say self-righteous? When fearful of life, and how appreciative they are of the community and others, regardless of, they walk around anywhere. They do all of this and that, and people are like, you're crazy. But it comes to a point where you're like, you have to take care of it. They're not going to take care of you. They are there for profits. They want profits out of you too. So find a way to minimize the loss for yourself, and not maximize the gain, but put it. You don't have to break even because you're putting more in there, of course. So then you have NGOs, what are they, NPOs, whatever. I was not interested at all, my sisters, not profit, whatever, the different sectors. So, and then they register this way, but don't make it a loss when you resent it, just because you're solving the strife in the community. Now there might be, you see all that, and then it affects your family too. And of course that's why they went to do that, which affected my family, and what's happened, and whatever, So trying to solve that on a very basic conflict, on a very basic discussion that a man and another man could have had, and another man not recognizing this young person and this and that, and just the degrees of deceit, and the degrees of love, and the degrees of being thankful for your life, being thankful for having another person, regardless if they are for profits for you or not. So they try to focus on that. Trying to minimize the conflict right there. It's not profits. Furthermore, so should I say, these persons that were being helped, were like, oh my God, I have a huge family, and my family comes along, and there's plenty of people, and all of that, and of course they're just talking so much. Like, we were suffering from not having our family members paying attention to you more. You eating better. You doing this. They're getting grants. You doing this and that. I mean, everything is paid for you. And your families, you're being taught, how to knit. Your family, and your aunts and whoever, you got greenhouses. You're growing vegetables. That has been done already, sustainability, and all that. But it's not about introducing all these grassroots movements. They already have been done, and it's not about them not surviving that, and not introducing, premiums, life insurances, all these things, stock fails. Them communicating with each other on their budgets, and communicating with each other, banking, going through like fast FNB, Fast National Banks, Itala, APSA, NetBank, all of this, communicating, having my mother be like a chat passenger of all of that, and getting these especially women, of course, and but also men, and then the men, rivaling with, well, this bitch is doing this and that, oh, she's selling, now she's selling, or whatever, she's embroidering or crocheting or anything, she's sitting right there, or whatever, with all her eggs and her cabbages and whatever. And then, so it becomes quite, now you're involved in somebody's household, and you're just a person, and then it becomes quite tricky. So, least be thou hath said, have I not said enough? Furthermore, I'd like to just announce there's plenty of people, all colours. I had great Indians. The Indians were doing a very good job. Of course, the Muslims, they were doing a very good job. The Asians, they were doing a very good job all over. Already integrating and doing this and that. In these areas, and being doctors, being in the marketplace, whatever, symbols, all this, trying to. So much so that I wrote something on the informal economy and its effect on the real economy, and just to say that was somebody, was selling fruits and vegetables, whatever, and how that affects, the gross domestic products or whatever, and can it be, arranged to, and make it bigger. My grandmother, her latest, before she, went to it, was of course buying so much land for young men, and teaching them, of course, how to, of course, build and agriculture and all this and that, and recognizing. And of course, one of my friends, I'm not going to say whatever, and not just to be like, well, you're going to be a police officer, and them doing all this stuff and whatever, and of course the ratios, of this guy's like, is mega small, is like, and the tragic, I mean, I can't say to them further. So people, I'm not a singer, I'm not just a big guy. And that's, of course, the biggest love of my life lives, and I live, and so does Holy Spirit, and our love, and holiness, and in God, and in Jesus Christ. And so we say is, God bless even the fool, and even the mighty, and whatever. God bless us all. And let us not consider ourselves. I learned this, of course, from my nannies. They all hated me. It was very hard being a child, being hated. They would talk shit about me. My nannies would talk shit about me, making my siblings and my cousins talk shit about me. My nannies were talking shit about me, and they were very mean. And that affected me greatly. It affected my ability to think. So in love, you have to get your kids, of course, into a nice, I can't say I'm perfect, of course I am, perfect parents, but of course I was also looking into nannies and this and that. Some of them are great, but then they would have nannies having relationships with like my brothers and stuff like that, and cousins, and them looking at them like all sexy and whatever, and then like having my family members be like, well, we don't want her to cook, and she starts to like mix all types of weird shit in the pot. What the fuck? And he's got, so through all the cries, yes, we have in all of us, all people, of course, through all the cries, and through all the friendships and through all the finish lines. You get there sometimes, and you always have to, of course. Through all the finish lines and through all our inabilities to appease not only ourselves but those that you love. Let that feeling not sink into your heart so far that it hinders you from being all that you're thankful for. Amen.